Hello, I'm finally here. I'm sorry I'm late. My computer decided to do an update right as I was about to go live. So we're back. Thank you. I'm sorry if you dropped by and nobody was here, but I'm here now and would love to have you join me. And let's do some lettering together. So let me see if I can get my iPad set back up. That was an adventure because I was trying to think, okay, how can I compromise? What can I do to do this? So we're back. So let me get the iPad plugged back up. I was trying to use it. Um, Tell me where you're from and what are you eating for lunch today? I'd love to know that you're here. So you can just put your name and where you're from in the comments. I'm using StreamYard. And the benefit of that is it helps me to see the comments on the side. The disadvantage is unless you give them permission, I can't see your name. I just see Facebook users. So when you're prompted, if you would give them permission for me to see your name because I want to say hey to you. I hope you're having a good day. Today feels like a Monday to me. I don't know. Tell me how your day's going. And I'm almost ready here. So just trying to make sure I've got. Can you tell me if you can hear me okay? That's one thing that I'm trying to check. So if you could give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, that would be helpful. Let's see if anybody's hearing me. If not, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. All right. Okay, good. Somebody, Janie Westcott, Tacoma, Washington, no lunch yet. We went to Washington probably 3 years ago. I loved it there. I bet your weather is just amazing today. We were all just overwhelmed by the beauty of Washington, but also the temperature. There was no humidity. It was wonderful. So we have a lot of humidity here in the South on the opposite side of the United States. It's beautiful outside, though. It's very sunny. Everything's in full bloom. All the pollen, all of the stuff is out. The flowers are beautiful. So that we do have that in our favor, even though the humidity makes it kind of hard to breathe. Did y'all have a good Mother's Day weekend? I was able to go to a master gardener tour, and there were 8 houses and gardens on the tour. We were only able to make 3 of them, maybe 4, but it was just gorgeous. And my phone camera is full of florals and leaves that I'm going to share with y'all in the groups, because over in the Lemonade Creative Hearts this month, we are making alphabets with florals, calling it the floral alphabet. So I have lots of pictures to use for inspiration for those floral alphabets. And then in our mixed media group, we are drawing. And sometimes that's scary to draw or to even say you're going to draw something, but having a good reference photo really does help. And so in the mixed media group, we're using old vintage photos for our reference photos. So like I used a picture of my Meemaw. A lot of the ladies found some pictures of their mothers and grandmothers, and it's just been really, really sweet to see the different photographs that the ladies are sharing. But there's so much value in having a good photograph. So if you are a little bit nervous about drawing, I just want to encourage you to look at some photographs. So like with the ladies in the painting group, we're looking at bodies and figures and positions and angles and Sometimes that feels a little intimidating, but you can always make a copy of the photo, like on your photocopier, print it out and draw over the outlines of the shape of the body. You'd be amazed how much that helps. It helps your mind and your eye learn to work together and follow what your mind would let your mind follow what your eye sees, and then your hand cooperates with that as well. So try that sometimes. If you're intimidated by drawing, take some photographs, then make copies of them and start tracing them. You'll be surprised how much easier it makes it. Let's see, Jenny's got very nice weather today. It's a bit warm past few days. Okay, in the 80s. Yeah, we're in the 80s too. We just have a ton of humidity. I did have somebody asked me, did you have a nice Mother's Day? I said, yeah, everybody was nice to me on Mother's Day. Not that anybody's mean to me on Mother's Day, but it was a nice weekend. I love flowers, so the whole weekend was filled with that, and that just gave me a lot of creative inspiration to share in my own artwork, but to share with y'all as well. So if you're a mother, tell me in the comments what's one thing, because Mother's Day can be very hard. A lot of people have lost their mothers. A lot of people. A lot of strained relationships make it feel complicated and sometimes icky and uncomfortable. What's something that makes the day special for you? Seeing those flowers was really sweet for me. And just, picking out what I want to eat that day. Just the little things. It's just the little things. My oldest daughter sent me some flowers, beautiful bouquet. I've taken lots of pictures of those and we'll be drawing some of those. Like I said, those photographs are very valuable for drawing. And we use our drawing in so many ways, a lot more ways than you realize. So I want to show you today some lettering stuff. Because I got something really special coming June the 12th, 13th, and 14th. We are putting together a lettering workshop. We have not done one of these since, I think, August of last year was the last time we did a lettering workshop. I need to look back in my records, but I'm excited about it. We actually have a workbook available this time if you want to get a copy of something physical that you don't have to download. We've got that we're putting together a kit, and we've got some pencil pouches and some of my favorite tools. If you've been following me very long, you know that this is my favorite pencil. So we have bunches of these, and we're going to be including one of these in each one of the kits. The colors will vary, but it's the same pencil with that side clicker, and the erasable is twistable. And what makes this so good for lettering is you can click this while you're writing and be able to get a little bit more lead down. You don't have to stop and do the thing up here to get the lead to come down. It just really helps, and it feels good. It's got like an indentation right in this area where your finger goes, and it's got rubber on it. So I love these pencils. So we just ordered a big stash of them and going to be putting them in the kits. And if you get a kit with this particular workshop, you will be getting at least seven additional traceables along with the kit. This a little bonus we're putting together. The workbook already has traceables in it, but these are some bonus ones. Let's see, Diane. Okay, she says she was blessed to be in church with her oldest daughter and granddaughter. Yeah, that is a blessing to be able to go to church together and worship together. So yes, you had a good day, I can tell. Yeah. We're also going to have a Tombow marker in each kit, and that's what I use a lot for the lettering, so we're including that. And we've got what's the other marker? Erasables, because I use a lot of erasable pens and markers whenever I'm lettering, especially in my church notebook. So I wanted to include some of those in the kit. So there'll be one in each kit. So we gave you a good variety of tools, things that I like to use for lettering. So I believe I've got the link in the comments. So if you want to check that out after we get through doing our creative stuff, I want to invite you to do that and go ahead and snag one of those kits while we have them. And the workshop is not until June, but we're trying to go ahead and do it now so that we've got time to get the kits put together and get them mailed to you. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would love to have you. Now, what if you are already one of our Lemonade Creative Heart members? You'll get access to the workshop, no extra charge. Watch for an email from us to let you know how to get access, though, okay? And I'm writing myself a note to make sure we got to send that email to those Lemonade Creative Heart ladies. And I'll meet with them tonight. We do a Zoom once a month. We'll do a Zoom gathering, and we letter together, and it's just a time that I can help you one-on-one. And it helps me to be able to see everybody's faces and hear their voices. That's something, while a Facebook Live is nice, or in YouTube or Instagram, wherever you're watching, Zoom is just special because I can hear your voices and see your faces. Hey, sweet Shania, it's good to see you too. So as y'all are joining, let me know if you're a mom, what's something special that helps you feel good on Mother's Day. And for those of you that it was a hard day, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone. You were on my heart this weekend thinking about the people who it's really hard. It's hard. All right, so I've got something fun for us to do. Well, it's fun for me because I've been looking forward to doing this. So this is my little church notebook. Let's see, this is how it works. I don't know if she's watching or not, Tammy Carney, if you're watching, Tammy sells some of these similar to this. I'm going to see if she and I can get together and get you some links if you want to purchase something like this. I love this kind of notebook. There's a rubber band. Let's see if I can hold this so you can see it and not drop everything. So you can see part of it back here. Find the middle. Here it is. Hang on. There's three individual little notebooks in here. And see, this rubber band holds them in. And then when you fill up one notebook, then you can replace it with a fresh one. And I'm to the point, I need to get some refill pages because mine are almost full. I have filled up this one and this one, and I've almost filled up this third one. So this is something that happened on Sunday, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to break this down because there's so much in this that I want to unpack into my big journal. So see, this is not very big at all. It fits in my purse, but it gives me more room than writing in my Bible. So let me see if I can grab it here. Hang on just a second. Thought I had it within reach, but okay. So this is actually a journaling Bible, and you could journal in it. And I basically use it for notes, but I do all my journaling in a notebook. I just need more room. I know a lot of people do beautiful pages in their Bible, and that's great. The way I do it, though, is I just do it in a separate notebook, and that's what I want to show you. So we've been going through the book of Thessalonians, First Thessalonians, And so we were right there at the end. Let me see if I can get my pages to turn. One thing I could tell you not to do that I wished I had not done, whenever I first got this Bible, I don't know, for some reason I thought I could color code these pages with my journal. So I used washi tape. And while that looks cute, it is so hard to turn the pages. After I did that, I thought, not a good idea. I wished I had not done that. But it is cute. And it was a good idea that maybe I could color. I like to color code everything. So maybe I could color code my journal with my Bible, but it just didn't work. So anyway, so we were in First Thessalonians, and see how, well, let me put it down under here. See if you can see it better. Can you see that? Let's see here. Let me move this. See if you can. So even though it is a journaling Bible, that's what it's for, I still need more room than this. And you can see that I have filled that page up to the point it's really kind of hard to read it now. And you can see that the page on the writing on the other side is also starting to show through. So you can probably see why I need to spill out over into another notebook. And so that's what I do. And that's what I call scripture journaling. So I'm going to show you. This is, this is what I'm calling my church notebook right here. And it's kind of like, this is where I'll take notes on the go. And then as soon as I get a chance, I like to come back and transfer them over into my big notebook and go a little bit further with it. So that's what I wanted to show you. So in First Thessalonians, and we're in the 5th chapter, which is that last chapter, it is packed full of information. And I am a very visual learner and a visual rememberer. So I remember not necessarily street names. I remember what's on the corner of the street and where to turn and that kind of thing. That's just how I remember. So the beauty of the scripture journaling, it just helps me because it's one more way that I can take those scripture verses and break them down a little bit to help me remember them. So let me see if I can show you how I'm going to do that. So let's turn to a fresh page. I think if you see this, I think you're going to want to try this, especially if you're visual. Let's make this bigger. And let's make me smaller because I want you to be able to see the page, not so much me. Okay. All right. Can y'all see that okay? It seems like you can, but let me know if you can't. I moved my stuff around and I was having a little bit of trouble getting that lined back up. All right. So what we did, I need both of these at the same time so you can see. Okay, so we started in this verse 12 and then read down to 28. And it was like, oh, that's good. I need to underline that. Oh, that's good. I need to circle that. Oh, that's good. I need to highlight that. And you see how full that got by me doing that. Hey, Amy, I'm so glad you're joining me. It's good to see you here. This technique, it's helpful, but I think it could work with anything. I love doing it with scripture and with journaling, but you could do it with anything that you're trying to learn and remember. It's taking words that you've heard, words that you've seen with your eyes, and then taking it one more step to break it down and write it out. So let's take one of these. I think it started in, let's see, we said verse 12. He's given instructions. So Paul is given instructions. And so like one of them right here, it says, be at peace among yourselves. Well, let's go up one. We ask you, brothers, to respect those who labor among you and are over you in the Lord and admonish you. Then, verse 13, and to esteem them very highly in love because of their work. Then the next sentence, be at peace among yourselves. So I started seeing a pattern. It's like, okay, he's given directions, kind of like if I was going to give you directions to get to the mall. It's step by step. I would say, okay, you go to the end of this road and you're going to turn left onto 169. Then you're going to go to the end of 169. You're going to turn left onto Highway 51. That's kind of how this is. And so that's what I was hearing, and I was visualizing it in my mind's eye. So I thought, I need to draw this out. So what I thought we could do, because this book is so big, there's so much room with it. This is a little sketchbook. I said little, but I called it a big book. That makes sense, does it? It's a big book. It is a sketchbook that I found at Target. Has a lot of pages in it. It's thin. You could paint in these pages, but you would want it to be, make sure there's not a lot of water to it. So I'm just going to start listing these things onto this page right here, and we're going to do it kind of like street signs or like a map, given directions to go somewhere. So one of the things he said was be at peace among yourself. So I'm just going to use my pencil. May have to do my marker. Let's try this and see. Let's see if you can see it. Okay, so B. And did you know that when you're lettering, that is, you're basically using shapes, you're drawing shapes, connecting them together to form a word. That's what it is. If you can think of it along those lines, it would help you, because so many people think, oh, I hate my handwriting. Well, don't think of this as handwriting. Think of shapes. See, that's a stick, and this is like a half circle. I put both of those together to form a P. All right, so this is almost a circle. It's 3/4 of the way. Draw a crossbar on there and it makes an E. So that's how we're thinking of this, as shapes. So we're just drawing some shapes, and then those shapes become letters. And then put together, they become words. So be at peace. And then I'm going to call this a slurred. So I'm just going to see how I'm just stretching those words out. It helps fill up space, but by using two different styles of lettering, it helps the words stand out. Okay, so be at peace among yourselves. Almost going to run out of room here. That's okay, because this is just my little notebook. So be at peace among yourself. That's one of the signs, street signs for directions. Okay, so there's one. The second one was warn, and they're back to back. That was what was so, whenever he was reading it, I thought, oh wow, I've got to write this down because they're back to back. Be at peace among yourself. Then verse 14 was, and we urge you, admonish the idle. Okay, the other version is warn the unruly. So he gave the example of mothers and children. If you keep jumping on the couch, you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to hurt the couch. Stop. So it's that simple. So let's do like a stop sign. And that's not a perfect stop sign, but that's all right. And I'm going to put warning. Warn. So see, there's some sticks. I'm going to do a oval, a stick. So you can do this. Stick. Warn. Warn who? Let's do that little slurred the unruly. And you can picture some kids just all crazy acting, jumping up and down on the bed and doing crazy stuff. See, we can illustrate it like that. Okay, warn the unruly. Then this is one of the ones I like. Comfort the faint-hearted. All right, comfort. Now, if I were doing this with pen, you know what I would do, or marker? I would use a different color for each one of these, because that's another visual. Anytime you can add visuals, it's amazing how it will help you. Instead of your mind seeing, oh, that's a bunch of words, it breaks it up. So we've got different font styles. We've got more of a print, and then this is more of a cursive. That's two ways we're breaking it up. We're breaking it up. There's a space in between there. We've got some little street signs here. But color is another great way to break up some of these words so that your mind sees them and sees there's a distinction, there's a difference. It draws out that there's a difference in each one of these words. So pay attention is what it would tell ourselves. And whenever I'm doing a T, I like to make it so it looks like a cross. So comfort, comfort who? And I'm using that same little slurred, the faint-hearted. And that could be anybody. You know, on Mother's Day, it might have been the ladies who have wanted to be a mother and could not bear children. It could be the one who's lost a mother. It could be somebody who's just been working really hard and they're tired and burned out and they just need a break. There's so many people this could apply to. So comfort the faint-hearted. And he used a word, nurture. So think along that lines of comfort is also a form of nurturing. So we all have people around us that, whether it's your children, we just all have people who need to be nurtured. We need to be nurtured sometimes too, don't we? Okay, so then uphold, that's the next word. So let's do it over here. See, another thing we're using to help these words stand out is pattern. So we've got a pattern going here. Do you see that? All of these things are things that I teach in our monthly group, but we will also be teaching in that live workshop that's coming next month. So uphold, how could we write that word? Let's do a stick figure kind of holding the word up. I like that. We're just giving visuals of these words. Uphold. And let's use our little slurred script here. Uphold who? It's the weak. Okay. I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit to help that stand out a little bit more. And I'm going to do a little thing like that. And we can do that by supporting them, loving them, encouraging them. That's how we can uphold them. Now, here's a hard one. Okay. It says be patient. And if you're doing this along with me, I hope you are. If you run out of paper, if you don't have a big sheet like I've got, just let it carry on onto a second sheet of paper. This is just for you. This is how a lot of my artwork is born, doing this, by breaking it down word by word, line by line. So how could we illustrate that? Be patient with, patient is hard enough, but watch this next word. All. That's a test, isn't it? because there's some people it's very hard to be patient with. And you know who's at the top of that list? Myself. I have a really hard time being patient with myself. I have an idea in my mind of how I think I should be doing things. And whenever I don't perform the way I think I should perform, then I'm not very patient with myself. I think one thing that we could do, I can't think of a visual for patient, but I do think of a visual for bee. And I think this would kind of work. What if we did like a bumblebee right here? Because something that I'm bad about doing for myself is if I'm not being patient with myself, I'm bad about negative words toward myself. So like think of it like a bee sting. Talk negative to myself, and that's not good. That's not good. So I need to be patient with all, including I need to be patient with Pan. So here's another one. Can you still see? It says, do not repay. Now look at how I did this one a little bit different. This is showing you how we can use a variety of font styles to also help break up the words to help us see them better. So what I did with this to break it up is I did some of the letters as lowercase and some of them as uppercase, and that made that word repay stand out. And then I'm also going to put like a box around it like this. So there's so many ways that we can do this to help our mind break these words down and help it to soak in better. So do not repay evil with evil. And that could be tricky too, can it? Yeah. Okay. So we've got our little, this could be like money. I'm just going to put some little, we'll pretend like that's coins. And then this could be like little dollar bills. And I'm just doing quick sketches. There's a little dollar. Do it like that. Okay. So then it says, but, so we'll write that bigger, but it's like, don't do that, but do this. And so I'm going to have to go over to the other page, and I do this all the time. I draw arrows and lines, but make sure I've got it over here so you can see it. Always. And can you tell I'm not trying to make this perfect? I'm just trying to break it down for myself to help me remember it better. And then some of these, I could actually put some of these verses on their own page. They're that important. But always, let's do seek. And I think a visual for that maybe would be like a, what do you call those things? Magnifying glass. Oh, Rico. Sorry, guys. That's Rico. Seek to do good to. So just for me personally, what I hear in that is seek to do good. Doing good for other people doesn't necessarily come natural. We need to seek ways to do good. What is something I could do? And you know who, I'm just going to be honest with this. The one that I need to apply this most to is often my husband, because he's the one that's always helping me do things. He helps me with the business. He helps me with so many things. And sometimes he gets the bottom of the barrel. So what spoke to me with this is, what are some ways that I could seek to do good for him? But you do it for what applies to you. What comes to your mind with this? Because I want to show you, I've got just, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. We just kept reading them and thought, oh my goodness, these are so powerful. I don't want to forget these. So I was hoping I could do this yesterday, and it was such a crazy day I didn't get to do it. Rejoice. This is another one that I have trouble with because I struggle with being a perfectionist. I guess it's a confession time, isn't it? I struggle with being a perfectionist. And you know what's hard for perfectionists? We always see what's left to do. And we have a hard time celebrating what we did get done and what is working and the good in the day. So this is one that I struggle with. So I'm going to do these like little party confetti things. That's how I'm going to put rejoice always. So a note for myself would be, I'm going to draw a little arrow, even the unchecked things on my list. See, I'll make a list and I love to get things checked off, but I can't always get it checked off. Rarely do I get everything checked off because I also put more on there than it's even possible for anybody to do. Here's another one. Pray. And these are all just right there in 1 Thessalonians 5, and it starts with 12. And it's like every sentence is just packed with these, I think of them like street signs, of these are directions of how to live and what doing these things will bring peace. Okay, so pray. We could say pray. Let's see if we could let's do somebody kneeling. That would work, wouldn't it? So here's the knees right here. Then we've got to have, that's the little rear end. And then a head. How's that? I don't know if you remember this or not, but when computers first came out, we were so tickled to get a computer. They had these little things called screen beams. I loved those things. They're like emojis. They're like I don't know, an old version of an emoji. Now, there she's got her hands praying. Okay. Oh, I lost my page. Hold on. Pray. I really like having the space to stretch these words out because I think it helps make it, makes those words stand out also. You can just, if you don't have enough space, then make them smaller. But if you have the space, do it like this. I'm going to put a little heart there. Here's another one. Let's say make sure the page is up there so you can see it. Everything. This is another one that's hard, especially if you are a perfectionist like me. In everything. But give. How are we doing on time? We're almost out of time. Okay, so what I might have to do is we may have to continue this one on to next week's, which is okay. And if you don't have a notebook, I would encourage you to get one and start trying this yourself. Give thanks. Let's see. Give thanks. In everything, give thanks. And I'm going to write this because this is important. For So think of for as because. He's saying, okay, Pam, because this is, and we talk about this all the time. I just wished I knew what God's will was for me in my life. Well, look at here. Will of God is right here. Is to give thanks in everything. Wow. Hey, Leslie, thank you. Thank you for being here. There's so many more. I didn't get very far on these, and I know that our lunchtime is up. Let me mark where we are. So we only made it down to verse 18. So if you have your own notebook, take some time and try to do verse 12 through 18. And if you do it, I would love it if you would post a picture of it in the comments and let us see, because we learn from each other. I love to teach, ladies, but we learn from each other. So show what you've done. So take these verses. Verse 12 is first. Let's see. Let me write it right here. First Thessalonians. And when you do it, I want to encourage you, do not worry about spelling. Don't worry about how the letters look. Just start writing them out, just to try and break it down. And then if you want to go back and have a certain passage or sentence or verse in here that you want to break down, like this one right here could have its own page. Pray without ceasing, it could have its own page. Rejoice always, all of these could have their own page. So I want to encourage you to get a notebook. If you don't have a notebook, get some copy paper. You can write on the back of an envelope. Don't be limited by supplies. I'm going to encourage you to look these verses up and write them down. The next step that you could do with this is turn them into prayer. So some of these, I was honest and shared the ones that were convicting to me. I mean, I saw where, with this one right here, I need to apply this to my husband. What are some things that I could do for him to seek to do good to him, for him, other people in my life? Rejoice always, even with an unchecked to-do list. So make it personal and let us see. Okay. Then the next thing I want to ask you to do is go ahead and mark June 12th, 13th, 14th. And I really want to have you come to this lettering workshop, because I'll be working, you'll get a lesson every day of those 3 days, basic lettering lessons. And then for 3 nights, we will meet in a Zoom group. And you can actually ask me questions. I will be able to hear your questions. There won't be a delay like with the Facebook comments, and I can help you with your lettering. All right. So we have kits. And if you think you might want to get a kit, I'm going to encourage you to check them out, because we're going ahead and starting to let you order now so that we'll have time to get it shipped to you. And it'll include one of my paperback workbooks and some of my very favorite supplies, including my favorite pencil. All right. Yeah. Do that, Leslie, and let us see. Post them in these comments. We can learn from each other. So thank y'all for sharing your lunch time with me. And I'll be back next Tuesday, and I'm going to put myself a note to remember to pick up where we left off, because each one of these could be their very own street sign, couldn't they, in the path of life? How do we need to live? How do we need to get through this crazy world? And these are like our street signs. All right. Blessings to y'all. I hope you have a good rest of the day. And if you have questions about any of this, put it in the comments, and I'll be watching, and we'll try and get the answers for it, for what you might need. All right. And I hope that you'll mark your calendar for next Tuesday so you can letter with me again next Tuesday during lunch. All right. Y'all go have a good day, and I'll see you soon.